Hello everyone. Today, we'll be discussing the important topic of Britain's role in the slave trade and the national debate that has been reignited by King Charles's coronation. Liberal Democrat leader Ed Davey has called for a more open-minded approach to dealing with questions about the UK's role in enslaving Africans, with the praises in the path taken by the New Zealand government, who has offered an apology and more than $150 million in reparations to indigenous communities. The Prime Minister of Belize, Johnny Briceño, said that the UK has a moral responsibility to offer an apology, but the UK's Prime Minister Rishi Sunak ruled out offering an apology or reparations for slavery. Those comments infuriated Commonwealth leaders, who believe an apology is the least that the UK could do. The UK's King Charles, however, has suggested he is in support of research into the royal family's links with the slave trade and made his coronation a multicultural event. He was greeted by representatives of the Jewish, Muslim, Sikh, Hindu, and Buddhist communities as he left Westminster Abbey. Despite this, indigenous groups from 12 Commonwealth countries are calling on the UK to acknowledge the horrific impacts on and legacy of genocide and colonization of the indigenous and enslaved peoples. The New Zealand government's Prime Minister, Chris Hipkins, explained that when you look into the past and identify what's happened, making a record of that and then acknowledging it, and finding a way of providing some redress is a very, very powerful thing. The national debate over this matter speaks to the history of Britain and its colonies, as well as the power of the royal family over many centuries. How the UK deals with this issue speaks to the legacy it will leave to future generations. We must ask, who is responsible and what should be done to make up for colonial atrocities? Are acts of recompense sufficient and necessary? How extensive should they go? Is a formal apology enough? These are all questions that need to be addressed by the British government. However, there is no simple answer, no quick fix that can adequately address the wrongs and atrocities committed in the past. What we can do is work to raise awareness about the horrors of the slave trade and Britain's role in it. We must educate ourselves on the history of colonialism and the struggles faced today by indigenous and enslaved communities. This is an issue that cannot simply be swept under the rug. It cannot be forgotten, but rather needs to be actively addressed and discussed, so that future generations can have a better understanding of our past and of the current inequalities and suffering faced by many people and communities. It is important that we have an open conversation about Britain's role in the slave trade, and work together to find ways to recognize and address the wrongs and injustices of the past. We must continue to push for greater acknowledgement and action from the British government, and support those who are calling for reparations and a public apology. This topic is an important and necessary discussion to have, and one that we must take seriously. Thank you for watching, and we hope you will join us in this important conversation.